Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for the prayers in the chat. You guys shared some personal information in the chat before the show, and just some personal stuff I'm going through with my family. And so thanks for the prayers and the humility and the love for that. Now, let's get into today's show. And I know we keep coming back to this building, the Wyndham New Yorker. And why do we keep coming back to this building? Well, I believe that this building holds some of the secrets to the earliest microwave network experiments in U.S. history. And it all began with a small group of men at the center of microwave radar technology. Now, Shaking My Head Productions did a great montage of some of our work on the evidence that we brought forward about this microwave technology. And it all started with the uncle of Trump and Tesla. They were all working on this technology in the 1930s and 40s, just before his death. And so it's no wonder that Trump became the Clive G president and beyond, and signed in legislation to push the technology forward, because it's all connected. And this building, the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel, which opened in 1930, is at the center of all this. And I'll explain that to you during the rest of this show. Now, this is the carpet in the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel. And as you can see, it's a hexagon pattern. Now, there are some other images. This looks like some kind of a banquet hall, but there are some other images of this hexagonal carpet inside of the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel. Now, remember, this is the hotel where Tesla died in. And look at this carpet. Now, if this carpet looks familiar to you, it's because you've seen it before. You've seen a very similar looking carpet. That carpet was in the film The Shining. And this is it right here. As you can see, it is a hexagon matrix as well. It looks similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. I want to be clear here. Here's the picture of Danny playing on this carpet. And let's toggle back and look at the carpet compared to it. Same colors, same hexagon patterns. Now, what is this all about? Well, this carpet from the Overlook Hotel in the film The Shining is called Higgs hexagon, HH. Now, we know that HH is 88, which is time and space, time travel. Is this hotel some kind of portal? Are these portals connected to one another? Is there a connection between the Overlook Hotel and the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel where Tesla died? And that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at the evidence of this. Now, weirdly, as we look at this screen and you look on Danny's shirt, you will see the Apollo rocket. We all know who the modern Apollo is, don't we? It's Trump. But something else just hit me right now that I wasn't planning on talking about. I just decoded yesterday the film Black Phone with Ethan Hawke. And it is about children being picked up, grabbed, and locked in basements. And the main actor child in that film carries around this Apollo rocket that you see on Danny's shirt. Now, I've already put together a montage on that. We're going to cover that film tomorrow. But the montage on it is up on TikTok. It's about 2 minutes long. And you can see this boy holding this rocket. So now you understand how all of these films are connected to one another. And it's all about Apollo all the time. Now, let's get into the building, the Wyndham New Yorker, because it is currently owned by the Unification Church, also known as the Moonies. And why did they buy this building? Well, we're going to get into that today as well. Now, Trump just spoke at the Moonies Blind 11 anniversary event. He didn't just speak at it, this was years ago, but he spoke as their keynote speaker. And if you were, unsure about the connections between the Moonies and Trump, understand that his spiritual advisor, Paula White, also honors Mother Moon and the Unification Church, the Moonies. So there's something going on here, isn't there? This was back in 2021. There's something to this, and I believe it all has to do with the Wyndham New Yorker, the Moonies, Tesla, Trump, his uncle, and everything else in Jive G and this signal. Now that I have your attention about these undeniable synchronicities, there's something weird about the Wyndham New Yorker where Tesla died. It's 43 stories tall. And 1943 was the year that Tesla died. Where did he die? In the hotel? Room 237. It's actually room 3327, but you get the drift. And in fact, in the Black Phone movie that you're going to see us decode tomorrow, there's also a room 237. It's all connected. Now the question becomes, was the Wyndham New Yorker haunted by ghosts, demons, whatever you want to call it? And I believe that it was. You see, I believe that spirits travel through and use electricity. Now, why do I say this? Well, Lucifer fell like lightning from heaven. Why did it have to be like lightning? In this Wyndham New Yorker hotel was a self-contained power plant. Now we're going to dig into some of these cutaway images from the hotel, Wyndham New Yorker. And we're going to look at the bottom of this thing a little bit later in the show. Look at this. 1933 is when Tesla moved in to the Wyndham New Yorker. 3 years after it opened. And again, he died at 43 years old. Here's a floor plan for the Wyndham New Yorker. And as you can see, it's the number 33 in a mirror. Was this building commissioned by the grandfather of AC current? I believe it was. This was a self-contained power plant. And in its basement was 4 generators, except they were DC current. So you had AC and DC current in the same building, one above and one below. In the basement was DC, and on the 33rd floor was AC current with Tesla. Now, this is a 1930 popular science story on the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel. We're going to read through this. Many of you have seen this before. If you've seen us cover this hotel, we're going to read through this, and you're going to hear and see things that will help to put this in perspective. Modern hotel is a huge machine. How often do you hear a hotel being spoken about as a machine? Let me make sure you guys are with me, and we'll keep going. We'll get into this popular science article. All right, looks like you guys are here with me. Okay, good. Let's keep going with this. 6 o'clock in the evening, New York's 43-story hotel, the highest in the world above the street and the deepest below. The highest above and the deepest below. As above, so below. Is preparing to open its doors to the public at midnight. An army of workmen complete last-minute jobs. Engineers and managers hurry through the corridors. A flash and a sputter. Trouble on the 6th floor. A whole panel of electric fuses has blown out. Half the building is plunged in darkness. And only 6 hours before the opening. Telephones jangle in the chief engineer's office. Every electrician in the house is up to fix the break. Cables have burned off and dropped out of sight down conduits. Can't be fixed in less than 3 days is the verdict. Death and resurrection in 3 days. But this is a time when the impossible must be done. 10 o'clock, and they are fishing for the cables by the light of flashlights. 11 o'clock, and the first guests are arriving. No time to trace connections. Splice them on to any power line. Comes the order. 12 o'clock. The entrance doors swing open. The hotel is flooded with light. It took 3 days' work to straighten out the connections. But on its opening, the New Yorker hotel was lit. Its chief engineer, Warren D. Lewis, faced me over a desk in the subterranean office. I saw a keen, alert face, a firm chin, brown hair tinged with gray, blue eyes. The New Yorker hotel, probably the most mechanized hotel in the world, is a vertical village that can hold 5,000 inhabitants. It has 2,500 guest rooms, only the Stevens Hotel in Chicago, with 3,000, has a greater capacity. Erected so recently, the hotel was able to take advantage of the last word in mechanical equipment. Competent, superhuman servants, unseen by the guests. They are buried mostly in 4 underground floors, like the machinery behind the scenes of a modern theater. I'd already passed through an impressive lobby and descending, winding staircases. So many that I lost count to reach the office of the chief engineer in the 4th basement, 78 feet underground. Through its windows, I saw what looked like the engine room of a great steamship. Black cylinders with gleaming metal bands. Those were the 4 steam engines in the hotel power plant. With flywheels tall as a man, they were coupled to dynamos. The hotel makes its own electricity for everything from lighting lamps in the guest room to cleaning carpets. More economical, they find, in the long run. What if the steam engine should fail with no outside electric connection? A diesel engine as big as a streetcar is ready for an emergency, resembling a giant automobile motor. It has 8 cylinders and burns oil. It is the only completely independent power plant of its kind in the world. The diesel was the hardest single piece of machinery to get into the building. They had to lower it through the sidewalk. The whole power plant could supply a city of 35,000 people. We built it plenty large enough, he said, so that later we might use some of the power for other buildings on the block. The steam comes from 4 towering boilers, each as large as a banquet hall. So, here's the story of what is below. the Wyndham New Yorker hotel, or what was below the hotel. Here are some vintage pictures of it. Notice they don't mention Hoover Dam, which of course was a power plant. I don't know if Hoover Dam had opened yet. Did Hoover Dam open in like 1933? But this was the power plant before the power plant. As you can see, now they go in here and they talk all about all of the different statistics surrounding this hotel. 130,000 pounds of linen can be washed in the laundry. 52,000 sheets would cover an acre of ground. 12,000 pieces of china an hour, and on and on and on. Which reminds me of Halloran from The Shining, rattling off the statistics of the kitchen in that film. Now look at this. Here's a cutaway of the building. Let's kind of zoom this up. They had a hospital, x-ray room. They had a ballroom with aluminum chairs, a tea room, a dining room. They had a banquet hall, lobby, bank. I think this thing even had an ice skating rink inside. Here's the street level, the main hotel entrance, dish conveyor, salads and dairy products prepared in rooms adjoining the kitchen, silver polishing room. They had a vault, a lower bank floor, ice cream freezers, and here is the generators, the steam engines. Remember, there were 4 plus a diesel. Butcher shops, washer purifies hotel air, machine shop, linen rooms, electric bake ovens. Wow. Escalators, presses, laundry washers. So, something to see here, isn't there? What was Tesla doing in this building? Now, I'll link all of these in the pinned comment, all these links. But understand that this popular science clippings from this magazine is posted on the Moonies website. Look at the link here, tparents.org/library/unification. And in fact, when you go to the root, oh, you can't see the link. Sorry, guys. Let me put this link, because I'm trying something new with the our show format so that you guys can see more of the screen. But in doing that, you're not able to see the links or the tabs that I'm pulling up. But make no mistake, and I'll link this later, that this link that I'm looking at here is from the Moonies website, Unification Church. So something is going on here, isn't there? There's a fascination with this building and Tesla. Now, at the end of this article, they talk about the radio and how pervasive the radio is. The radio phone lines, telegraph lines going down and in and around this building. The copper lines. Basically, if you were a tenant in this building, in this hotel, you would be surrounded by copper lines in and around the walls. And that is where we get to the crux of what I believe all of this is really about. Something happened in this building where they saw how electromagnetic frequencies and waves affect people and the spirit realm. Now, there's another article on powering the New Yorker hotel. Again, I'll pin this for you guys in the pinned comment. This goes over more of the facts behind that. Now, many of you will remember this scene in The Shining. And this is what's going to tie it all in together for you and help you understand the connection between these two buildings, the Overlook Hotel and the Wyndham New Yorker. It's at exactly this point in the film That Wendy, when she's down in the boiler room, she goes to hit this button and she hears Jack having his first nightmare. This is when the first possession began to happen, when she goes to fire up the boiler in the basement of the Overlook Hotel. Jack screams out. She hears him whimpering. She runs back. She wakes him up, and he tells her about this horrific nightmare that he just had. And there is your clue that electricity and spirit possession are connected. This was going to be our future, and they knew this all the way back in this scene during The Shining, which linked back before this to the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel from the 1930s and 40s, and fast forwarded to the future with Trump and Clive G and beyond. Hopefully you're seeing the continuity between the three. Now, I'm not going to show you this or play the sound, but for those of you that have seen the movie, when Danny would shine, Danny is her son, the little boy we just looked at. See, let's go back to here. You guys get a visual of Danny. When Danny would shine or be connected or tied into the spirit realm, he would hear a high-pitched tone or ringing in his ear. And Holleran, which is the African-American guy who knows that Danny can shine, he also hears the high-pitched tone. It sounds kind of like tinnitus. And that got me thinking, what is that about? Is that the signal? Is that the first Clive G signal ever created? Was this the original Tesla technology to bridge this world to the next? Now, shows like this are hard for many people to listen to because we've been given false gods, haven't we? We've been given false heroes. We've been given Tesla and Elon Musk. Yet, this is a Marina Abramovich praying over the ashes of Nikola Tesla in their home country, Serbia. Now, I'm not going to play much of this because I believe these are like portals. You can't be watching this stuff. This looks either copper or brass. Brass, of course, has copper in it. Why is she praying over his ashes? Bizarre. Very, very bizarre. There's something else going on. This is the spirit realm. Something, Tesla discovered something. And it's going to be the catalyst by which they try to mass possess the world. This is very important. The electric kingdom has everything to do with this. Where they're taking all of this, they want us surrounded by this electricity. This is why there's the push. Now, let's go back into some of the statistics of the Overlook Hotel. According to this, from The Shining, the Overlook Hotel had 110 rooms. According to this. Now, what is the significance of 110 rooms? Well, it's the same number of stories as one of the Slim Towers, isn't it? There were 110 stories in each of the Slim Towers. This suggests that the Overlook Hotel has a twin, doesn't it? Well, where's the twin of the Overlook? I believe we found it. Remember, there were twins in the Shining film. They were killed by the father in the first iteration of the possession. And so this twin thing repeats. It's the twin spirits in the host body. Now, look at the two buildings side by side. you see the New Yorker has this cascading pyramid effect, doesn't it? Stepping, stair step. It almost looks like a temple, or, a pyramid from Mesoamerica. And the Overlook has very similar features with these windows to the side, pyramiding, cascading overall look to it. Now, what other connections do we have to the present? Well, The Shining, the movie, was actually from a book in 1977. The 1977 book, The Shining. Now that's Trump's number. It's also Apollo's number. Apollo has many numbers. 66 is one of them, but 77 is also one of them. And the Wyndham New Yorker hotel had 33,000 square feet of office space. Remember, Tesla moved into the building in 1933 on the 33rd floor and died in 1943, and the building was 43 stories tall. 33,000 feet of office space. Conference space, I'm sorry. Now, as I showed you, the floors are laid out in the 33 diagram. Show you that one more time. If I can find it. There it is. It's a 33 mirror. And like I said, when you look at the two buildings side by side, they definitely look like the cascading pyramidal design. Now, let's go inside room 237 from the movie. It starts out in this living room. Oh, here are the twins, in case you didn't know about that. It starts out with this cryptic carpet, which looks like the scales of a dragon in blue and green. This is the living room space. And it looks a lot like the 1980s, doesn't it? Let's go down here and look at some of these other images of the bedroom from The Shining. There are stairs in it as well, going up into the living room. Here's a wide shot of the blue or the purple couches and drapes and the carpet. Now, the plot of the film The Shining goes back to the vintage era during the 30s and 40s. That was, like I said, this was the first time that the possession happened. I think his name was Grady. Grady was like the original Jack. And in fact, the Timberline Lodge points back to that era as well. It was newly opened during Tesla's last years at the Wyndham New Yorker. Here you can see right here, 1936 to 1938. Now, I understand that Estes Park and the other lodge in Colorado is what Kubrick says he fashioned the movie after. But all of the visual screenshots of the hotel were taken from the Timberline Lodge in Oregon, in Mount Hood, Oregon. Not Estes Park. Only the inside of Estes Park was, basically the movie was based off of. I think that was a bait and switch. He didn't want people looking too closely at the Timberline Lodge, because this tells more of the secrets of what he was really getting at. That this was actually connected to the Wyndham New Yorker. Now, the focus of room 237 in the film The Shining was this green bathroom. And the focus of the Wyndham New Yorker was also bathrooms. In fact, they boasted this UV sanitation machine by General Electric, And they would go in with UV rays, and this was new technology of the times, the 1930s when this first opened. No one really knew about this. But they would basically sanitize these bathrooms. And then they would seal them in cellophane, as you can see on your screen right here. A cellophane veil. Reminds you of the scene in The Shining where the evil woman behind the veil comes out of the bathtub. Now there's a bathtub scene also in The Black Phone. Bathtub full of blood. And that's in the trailer that I uploaded on TikTok if you want to see that. Well, we'll talk at length about that film tomorrow. I'm not going to show you too much of that film. Not a film I recommend, nor is this a film I recommend either. We're looking at the symbolism. We're looking at the continuity. We're looking at the connection of evil to some of these people in positions of power and where they're taking our country and the world for the last day's possession. That's why we have to cover these things, because if you don't see the evil for what it is, you will fall victim to the lie. Now, that's pretty much all I had for you guys. Look at this. Triumph for the Hotel New Yorker. Sounds like Trump, doesn't it? Television came to the New Yorker in the 1930s. Let's go back into the chat. I think that was pretty much all I wanted to present to you guys today. Like I said, in the pinned comment, I'll put all of these links if you want to research this stuff further. Let's do a little bit of Q&A. And again, tomorrow's show will be on the Black Phone. All right, let's give this a minute to catch up. Some of you said it looked like a ziggurat. I just saw that flash by. Yes. Looks like a Mesoamerican step pyramid. Charles Grady. Yes, that was his name. Triumph is an anagram for Trump. Yes, it is. Now, the Triumph appeared also in Donnie Darko, which, who was it? Baldwin said in a skit dressed as a chicken that Donald Trump's favorite film was Donnie Darko. And in that film, Donnie Darko is wearing a Triumph shirt, which is basically Trump. All right. Someone said something about donating in the chat. We have the super chat disabled. Only way to donate on this channel is to go to the link in the description. You can go to the fundraiser, or there's PayPal. Well, we don't do the super chat. YouTube basically takes half your money when you donate. It doesn't get to this channel when you do the super chat. So thanks for that. Twin Peaks is a similar hotel to The Shining. Stanley Hotel is really run down these days. That's the one in Estes Park, Tonette, right? Thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer joined the channel membership. Thank you for that. What do you think is the white rabbit? We followed this down the hole. I'm not sure what the white rabbit is. That's not like my specialty. I've looked at the rabbit before, but there's so many ideas behind the rabbit. If I had to tell you, my gut instinct is it has something to do with Alice in Wonderland. It has something to do with reproduction, fertility, maybe. I don't know. We should do a study on the white rabbit. I just feel like there's such deep secrets about the rabbit that I don't do it justice when I try to cover it. Donnie Darko is Donald Trump. All right, brand new cherry flavor shows how people. Yeah, we decoded brand new cherry flavor. I believe we decoded that a couple months ago. White rabbit points to Obama, says redeemed. Thanks, Apocalypse. I appreciate the prayers. White rabbit looks like a chemical molecule. Oh yes, it does. See, it's so deep. There's so many connections to the White Rabbit. I feel like every time I cover it, I forget something. All right. Yes, I saw the thing about super soldiers and what Pukestain is claiming about the soldiers in the stew crane. I heard about that. That is crazy. He's saying it came from the labs. They were hopping up these soldiers on meds or something, and it was creating these super soldiers. Be interesting to see what kind of evidence that they bring forward with that. Pictures, I don't know. Video. Crazy. It's all coming out, you guys. So what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think the two buildings are connected? Do you think there's a portal connecting the Outlook Hotel and the Wyndham New Yorker? I think there's a lot of evidence to say that that's probably the case. All right. What are my thoughts on Pukestain's claim? I believe he's probably right. I mean, we in this community have been talking about that, haven't we? Been a lot of evidence come forward about that. Some have claimed to have actually been in the programs. So, some of you see the connection. Yes, it ties the two hotels. It definitely does for me. Return of the Nephilim. Yeah, they've been doing super soldiers for years. Yeah, it all seems to be connected, doesn't it? Sanja has a good video about celebrities dressing up as rabbits. Oh, okay, that's cool. Thanks, Mac TV. Okay. Tinnitus ringing occurs before behavioral changes. Wow. Rabbits have to do with testing. Yes, that's another component, Shelley. Thanks for reminding us. Yes, because that's what they do all the testing on. And they're also doing testing on monkeys as well. So this is why we keep seeing the monkeys depicted. Monkeys and rabbits. What's your email? CaseyBrown1973@gmail.com. The clock in the power room was at 3:22. Oh, wow. Thanks, Creek Running. Good eyes on that. All right. Okay, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and pop off of here. We'll see you tomorrow with Black Phone with Ethan Hawke. Love each and every one of you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Take care and be safe.